You waited all week, and it's finally here. The Eat, Drink, Explore Weekly Travel Deals Extravaganza.
8:49 now the time, and a very big happy Mother's Day to you on this Sunday Fun Day. Welcome to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. This is our travel segment. On some weeks, we give you some great travel deals. Today, we are keeping you from losing money because you might have found yourself taking part in a scam. That's right. A new website, at least it's new to me, called scambook.com. Scambook.com, issuing a warning about two scams involving bogus free airfare vouchers and vacation package deals are being mailed out to consumers. I wanted to find out a little bit more about this, and so to do that, we welcome Case Chong with Scambook to the program this morning from, I believe you're down in L.A. Hey, Case.
Hi, Randall. How's it going? Thank you for having me. Yeah, we're down in L.A.
Yeah, and so when I got this email about these scams, we always like to give people a heads up in these areas. And then when I went to check out your website, I want to have you guys back on again to talk about some of the food-related scams that are out there and those sorts of things. But today we'll focus on these travel scams. And tell us a little bit about how these current scams are working.
Well, it's really deceptive, Randall. It's kind of scary. One of the letters can come from a U.S. airline, and that sounds really legitimate because you confuse it between U.S. Airways and American Airlines. But this is a fake airline, U.S. Airlines. And they say, hey, here is a check, and redeem it for 2 free airline tickets to anywhere in the continental United States. And here you think you've won a free ticket, and you're like, wow, okay, I'm going to go and cash this in. But really, they're trying to steal your personal information or try to get you to attend a travel club presentation that's going to cost you money. The other letter says that it's coming from Travelocity, which is a real company, but in very, very small print, even though there's Travelocity logos everywhere, and it says that the offer is coming from Travelocity. In small print, it says this promotion is not sponsored by Travelocity. So it's really deceptive.
Yeah, these scammers are really good with what they do. I would have to say I'm pretty proficient at filtering out the scams, but there have been a few that I had to look so closely to figure out, is this a scam or is this not a scam? And fortunately, I know some of the tricks to do that, but not everybody does. And so Scambook, you are offering 5 different tips to if you get something in the mail or through email and it seems a little bit too good to be true, that should be your first red flag.
Definitely. Well, here's the thing: your instincts are telling you something. So as soon as you feel like, is this a scam or is this not a scam? Go to the internet, go to Google, go to our website, Scambook. We're a community site where we like to have people report and file complaints about different scams, so that we can create a database to do warnings and shows and press releases like what we're doing right here to warn consumers. So as soon as you feel that maybe is this too good to be true, even if you're on the borderline, it takes 5-10 seconds. Our first tip is go to Google, go to Scambook, type it in, and see if there's anything out there or any reports saying that definitely this is a scam. The great thing about Scambook is that even if you have a phone number, like they say, call a phone number, type in that phone number into our website, and we have a special field that when people are scammed, they can enter in the phone number that they're asked to call. And if it is a scam phone number, there's a good chance that it's going to be on our website, and you're going to get notified, hey, be careful, this is what happened to other consumers.
Oh, that's great to know. Sometimes I get phone calls on my cell phone, and then they don't leave a message, and it's out of the area code. Could I look at that number and also put that into Scambook and see if it's connected to marketers?
You most definitely could. And when you're saying earlier that scammers really are getting savvy with their techniques, they really prey on a lot of common human traits and just basic human nature. And one of the things is missing out, the fear of missing out. Mm-hmm. So when you get a missed call, you really want to find out who's calling me. It might be important. I might be missing out on something. And that is a human trait. And the best thing to do is, if you don't recognize the phone number, you can probably ignore it, because if it really was important from someone that you know, they'll call back, or they'll get a hold of you a different way. But that is a common human trait that scammers take advantage of.
And you never want to miss out on a prize, that's for sure. But the question that you really should be asking yourself, did I enter a contest? A lot of us just have bad memories. And so it's like, well, I guess I could have entered when I signed up for that one thing or what have you. But that's one of the questions you want people to ask themselves, right?
Yes, and it's also one of our tips, too. It's when you enter this cycle, let's say you do call one of these numbers and you give away your personal information, you're perpetuating the cycle where you'll have more marketers call you and offer you things in the form of winning a prize. So if you really think, and if you ask yourself, did I enter anything that could, been a legitimate contest? If you haven't, then chances are this is part of this deceptive marketing or this deceptive scam cycle. So you need to take a step back and go, hold on. Did I enter anything? And so that's really one of our tips to try and instead of getting too excited and ahead of yourself, going, I won something, take a step back and think about whether you entered anything in the first place.
We are speaking with Case Chong with Scambook. I feel like Scambook is the Better Business Bureau with a lot more information.
We like to consider ourselves the future of consumer resolution and consumer affairs, because when you have a very old and traditional company, they take a while to innovate, and including things like I guess crowdsourcing for information and some of the new web technologies out there. We're able to move much faster. We're able to go and get the word out to everybody in a more familiar way, that the way we do things now in the future from Facebook and everything else.
Yeah, it can almost be instant if everyone plays along. If I get a scam today, this afternoon when I'm done with the show, and I go to Scambook and register it, and enough other people do that, it'll pop up on your top 10 list, right?
Yeah, we have a page called Insights, where we track some of the top scams, and we actually discovered that because we noticed a Target scam back in November, and based on the searches and the comments, we could track how these scammers. This was a text message scam, was spreading across the United States. Which cities it hit first, and how it spread, and we were able to project about how many people it was going to affect and what cities it was going to affect next. And we were able to try and get the word out to the media in those specific cities. Say, hey, it's traveling across the United States at this rate. You guys should be careful.
Case, we only have about 30 seconds left. The number one rule that everyone should know is if you won something, it's highly unlikely that you need to provide your credit card or any other wire transfer information, right?
Free should be free. So if they ask for a credit card number or a prepaid or anything like that, it's a scam.
All right, Case Chong with the Scambook. I highly recommend folks check it out. We have a link at eatdrinkexplore.com under today's program summary. Case Chong, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Randall.
All right, everyone, you are listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. I'm your host, Randall White, and we are back in just a moment. The Eat, Drink, Explore Welcome back to the program, everyone. Great to have you with us. I'm your host, Randall White, and you are listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio network here on this Sunday morning. It is a beautiful day in San Luis Obispo with clear skies, and we are looking for mid-80s today. It'll be a lot like yesterday, as a matter of fact, tomorrow as well. A little bit of a cool down as we head into midweek, and then a warm up again into the weekend. But great bicycling weather. It is the middle of Bike Month right now here in San Luis Obispo, and we will be speaking with the woman behind Rideshare. That is a local San Luis Obispo County organization that pushes this sort of thing. Throughout the year, they just try to get you to carpool, take the bus, bike ride. But throughout Bike Month, they really encourage you to use pedal power. We got a T-shirt here in the studio right now that I'm excited for. That Mallory just dropped off. She'll be joining us coming up here in just a little bit, as will some other guests associated with biking. One is a restaurant owner that has incorporated biking into the restaurant. The other is bike tourism. But right now, we want to let you know that this hour of Eat, Drink, Explore Radio is brought to you by Eberly Winery in Paso Robles, open daily from 10 in the morning until 6 o'clock in the evening with complimentary wine tasting and cave tours, voted by Wine Spectator as one of the best tours on the Central Coast. Eberly Winery is located on 46 East in Paso Robles. You can log on to eberlywinery.com for more information. So yesterday I was online and I found this really cool chart that somebody had posted on Facebook. It's by fitlife.tv. fitlife.tv, and it is a produce storing chart. So if you go to the farmer's market or you have a CSA box delivered, often you find your counter littered with a lot of fresh produce, and then you have to, get into the process of putting it away. Well, not everything goes into the refrigerator. Some of the stuff is stored on the countertop. Some others ripen on the counter and then go into the refrigerator and that sort of thing. So I'm just going to run down a quick list here of what goes where. We'll start off with what goes into the fridge. Okay, so if it is less than 7 days, so the first week that you have it, apples, bananas, and tomatoes are on the countertop. And tomatoes, when you put them in the refrigerator, even if you take them back out and rewarm them to room temperature, they will lose flavor just by getting chilled down. So if you really want that, that tomato flavor, especially if it's one that you've picked out of the garden or got fresh at the farmer's market, then make sure you do not put that tomato in the refrigerator. So apples, bananas, and tomatoes. After a week, or if you start noticing some deterioration, then you can go ahead and put them into the refrigerator. Apples, apricots, cantaloupe, figs, and honeydew go into the refrigerator after 7 days. Things that just always spend time in the refrigerator: artichokes, asparagus, blackberries, blueberries, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, carrots, cauliflower, celery, cherries, corn, grapes, green beans, green onions, lima beans, leafy vegetables, leeks, lettuce, mushrooms, peas, plums, radishes, raspberries, spinach, sprouts, strawberries, even though they do kind of start to look weird in the refrigerator, but summer squash, yellow squash, and zucchini. Okay, those all go into the refrigerator. That's the longest list. So certainly most of the stuff goes into the refrigerator. But as far as storing just on the countertop, never going into the refrigerator, basil, cucumbers, eggplant, garlic, grapefruit, jicama, lemons, limes, mangoes, oranges, papayas, peppers, persimmons, pineapple, plantains, and pomegranates. Lots of peas in there. And watermelon of all. We always put our watermelon in the refrigerator. Huh. I like cold watermelon, but that's what it says. So, yeah, those things are stored on the countertop. And then in a cool, dry place is acorn squash, butternut squash, onions, potatoes, pumpkins, spaghetti squash, sweet potatoes, and winter squash. All right, the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network is back in a moment. All right, we have a little bit of an audio issue this morning, and so I had a feeling this might happen because we switched computers as to what plays what, and so I just need to chat a little longer here till the show starts at 5:06, and then I don't believe that sounder is going to play at 5:06 either. So we're just going to roll through this entire thing. Hi, and. You are listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. In 30 seconds, we will be joining another station up in the Santa Cruz area, and we will be talking all things cycling since it is Bike Month. But right now, you're listening to Crush 92.5 FM in San Luis Obispo. Great to have you joining us on this beautiful, beautiful Mother's Day. All right, 9:06 the time right now on this Sunday Fun Day morning. Great to have you with us, everyone. You are listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. I apologize that we don't have the music and bells and whistles that you would typically hear right at this moment, but we'll try to fix that computer glitch during the upcoming commercial break. I am your host, Randall White. The lovely and talented Patty Pyburn is not with us this morning because it's Mother's Day. And so she's enjoying her day, having breakfast with her kids, Dresden and Quillen. And Cora Adama, our producer extraordinaire who works the phone lines on most days, she is having breakfast in bed, which she only gets once a year from her kids, Jack, Sophie, and Hank. And so happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there, including our staff, if they happen to be listening. We certainly want you to get out there and enjoy it. And today is a day to do that. It is beautiful. It should be just a fantastic day, maybe even a little on the warm side. A nice day to hop on your bike and pedal off to wherever you may want to go. And if you are in San Luis Obispo County, there's a great resource for you. It is called Rideshare. And we welcome to the program Mallory Jenkins with Rideshare, and we had Mallory on a year ago to talk about this. Mallory, I'm going to reposition your mic for you here.
No problem.
There you go.
That works better.
It was. Feel free to just sort of move that around however you like it.
It's hard being 5 feet tall.
So it's nice and nice and comfortable for you. So when it's not Bike Month, what is Rideshare all about?
Sure. So Rideshare, rideshare.org, we're basically just concerned with getting folks out of their cars, driving by themselves. So we help folks find information with everything from carpooling, van pooling, riding your bike, taking the bus, working from home even. So there's just a lot of resources on our website, or else stop by and say hi to us too. So
you're located in downtown San Luis Obispo?
We are part of the San Luis Obispo Council of Governments, SLOCOG, and we're on the corner of Santa Rosa and Marsh downtown. So.
Santa Rosa and Marsh. Do you have a list of tips that people could use no matter where they might be calling from? If some of our listeners in Monterey County or San Jose or Santa Cruz might just want some tips on cycling and carpooling, do you offer those sorts of things as well?
Sure, definitely. Well, obviously, like I said, go to our site, rideshare.org, but there's a lot of resources throughout the state of California, one of those being 511. You can just dial 511 from your phone pretty much anywhere, and there's a resource like us in all the counties in the state. So dial that, and that should get you started.
Right. So let's talk about Bike Month. This is nationwide, right?
Yes. Bike Month is a nationwide happening. We are really lucky here in San Luis Obispo County. We have one of the largest bike months kind of that happens in the nation. It's county-wide. We've got over 50 events this year as part of Bike Month, and we've got some online challenges going on and all sorts of fun stuff, all ways to get involved. We're giving away a bike, so yeah.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Yeah.
What kind of bike? Was that donated by a local shop?
Yes, actually Flanders Bicycle, who's up on Santa Barbara here in San Luis Obispo.
The last time I had flat, that's where I went.
Totally. Flanders, those guys are amazing. If you have any problems, you just want to talk bikes, go up there and check them out and support all of our local bike shops. But yeah,
Right.
Flanders, they're giving us a Linus commuter bike. It's a really nice bike. So
What would qualify a commuter bike? Something that has racks and
something that's easy to ride. It's probably just got a few speeds, but it's good to kind of just get you around. And yeah, a rack would be good, and maybe a bell.
a bell.
Yeah.
Because typically people that are commuting by bike are commuting along with lots of other commuters, including the ones in
Exactly.
cars. So you might want to let them know, hey, I'm here.
Totally, yeah. Use your hand signals. Make sure abide by the rules of the road too. So
I have to say that one thing that does irritate me as I figured it out the other day, Mallory. I have been commuting to either work, school, or daily errands
Sure.
Via bicycle for anywhere between 30 or 40 years.
wow,
I
awesome.
know.
Yeah,
'Cause
that's awesome.
My parents really got us started young. We would ride our bikes to grammar school, junior high, and then high school.
Yeah.
That was at a time when you didn't have to worry as much about your kid getting from A to B. So, but I'm glad I grew up in that era.
Totally.
So I could tack on those extra years of cycling.
Yes.
And then there were some periods where I lived too far from my job. And so I would either do a combination of I would ride part of the way and then take my bike off and then,
On the bus. Or
either the bus or car.
Oh,
It
yeah,
It depended. I was a
Yeah.
morning anchor for many years, and the buses just weren't running at the hour that I needed
Got it. Yeah.
to get to where I was going.
Right.
So I did what I could, and if I really didn't find myself commuting much via bicycle, then I used it to do my grocery shopping, to get downtown to meet someone for a drink or a restaurant or whatever have you. So when we call it bike to work, you're really just trying to open the door for people to consider getting on their bike as transportation, right?
You got it, definitely. I mean, commuting, it's going anywhere. It's going to visit your friends. It's going to the grocery store. It's going to school. It's going to work. However you do it, however you want to do it, it makes things more fun. And oftentimes, even it's a lot faster, you'll find, because you don't have to look for parking as easily. So
I started that whole thought with what really irritates me, and then I never got to the irritation.
yeah,
I apologize.
that's okay.
What really irritates me is and I'm sure it irritates the drivers too, but it irritates me when a cyclist is going the wrong way on a one-way street or on the wrong side of the road, when they do not pay attention to the signals or when they don't follow the rules of the road.
Sure.
Like they have some special pass that allows them to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
And I know that other people feel this way, whatever category you may be in. Maybe it's your race, maybe it's your gender, maybe it's your sexuality or the fact that you're a cyclist. When people of your group do things that a lot of other people find irritating, it bothers me even more because
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you're giving a bad name to all cyclists. Why are you doing that? And
Oh yeah, totally. Well, and I think it's it's just an education thing. A lot of people don't know, or else they grow up riding their bike on the sidewalk, and that's how they learn to ride, and they just don't ever make use of the bike lanes that we have or things like that. And so I think it comes down to respect. Everybody's got to be respectful of each other. The cars respectful of cyclists, and cyclists respectful of cars. We've got to. That's why we have the share the road signs. So.
Exactly. And, some cities make it easier to follow the rules than others. San Luis Obispo is getting there. They do have a number of bike paths now that are just set aside for cyclists. They have bike lanes. They've started, I've noticed, to implement the green lanes that
Yes.
you're finding in cities all over California and Chicago and
Right.
Madison.
We've got one down on the corner of Monterey and is that Monterey and what's that over? Anyway,
Monterey and that other street.
yeah, Monterey and that other California, I think California
Okay.
over by just one of the corners down there over by Splash Cafe.
Yeah, and so I love those green lanes because it makes it really clear. I've been yelled at before by a car because I am very, very, very proficient at following the rules of the road. So when somebody yells at me from a car, I don't have the option to pull them over and say, no, you see that right there? I was doing that correctly. And so those green lanes make it really clear to the driver and the cyclist, yes, they are in the right spot.
Totally.
And so I really hope to see more of those green lanes. It seems like a small price that cities or counties may have to fork out in order to, to make things a lot safer for everyone. So
Definitely.
Is there a push for more of that in San Luis?
I think we've gotten a lot of traction, at least us and the San Luis Obispo County Bicycle Coalition. They're countywide as well, and I think it's been a good thing education-wise. We also, I will go off on a tangent here. We do have some bike ed workshops that are going on as part of Bike Month too, that the San Luis Obispo County Bicycle Coalition is sponsoring and hosting, and it's just a good way to learn kind of those rules of the road so that you are maintaining that respect and just making sure that you're doing that and you know your rights too as a cyclist. So
you're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network right now on this what we like to call Sunday Fun Day. It's also Mother's Day, so hats off to all the mothers there. Today is the start of the Amgen Tour of California, which is a big deal, of course. And it's also the middle of Bike Month, so a lot of cycle-related stuff. So we thought we would spend the 9 o'clock hour focused on cycling in the state. We're speaking with Mallory Jenkins. She's with San Luis Obispo County's Rideshare, which tries to help get you out of your car, and in this month in particular, get you on a bike. In a moment, we'll be speaking with the owner of a restaurant. I'll call it a chain. There's 2 locations that really, the restaurant really folds in nicely with bicycles. And then we'll also meet the owner of a tour company up in Santa Cruz that is all about bicycle tours. So they'll join us right after the commercial break here on this warm day. It's really warm in our studio, Mallory, so I apologize.
It's okay. It's nice, actually. There's a few bikes going by down here. I'm loving it. It's good.
And we got 2 extra minutes in that segment, by the way, because we didn't have the ads to run because our sound is off. But right now we join the commercial breaks. Okay, the computer's not going to play along today, but that's okay. Good morning, everyone. 9:19 the time here on this Sunday Fun Day morning. Great to have you with us. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. And we are celebrating bicycles this morning here on the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. I'm a huge fan of cycling, and it is my primary form of transportation for sure. Not everybody, though, and I understand that. But maybe just incorporate it a little bit. And that's what we always try to strive for, to just work in a little more cycling out there. In the previous segment, we were speaking with Mallory Jenkins with a slow rideshare for the San Luis Obispo County listeners. Great resource there. It is rideshare.org, a great website for you to check out and join in on all the month-long activities. Mallory will stay with us here in studio as we bring on the line right now Andrea Lepore. She's the owner and founder of Hot Italian Pizza Restaurants. Andrea, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, great to have you here. And when I saw your website and your restaurants listed, I was looking on some Sacramento publication, and then I realized you also had one in Emeryville as well. You really take tying in cycling with restaurants to a new level.
Thanks. Well, yeah, I mean, Hot Italian really is, we like to say, is modern Italy meets urban California, and cycling is such a big part of both of those lifestyles. So, it's obviously a natural for us.
Yeah, and so your restaurant in Sacramento is located in the downtown area, which is really favorable to cycling.
Yeah, it's actually it's nice because we're sort of on the border of downtown where it meets Midtown. And Midtown is really where a lot of the bars and boutiques and other restaurants and Victorian houses and whatnot are. So it's really nice, easy access. You have bike parking for 32 bikes on site, and we actually are the first bicycle-friendly designated restaurant in California.
I have to say that one thing that does, another irritant of mine, as I was mentioning before, one thing that does bother me is when I ride to a place and I can't find a single bike rack within a reasonable distance, sometimes not even within sight of a place. But no, you have these racks, and I've never seen them before, where the bikes go in more of an upright position, I imagine, to allow more space to fit in more bikes.
Right, exactly. Yeah, they're really interesting. They're very artistic. They're called CyclePods, and they were designed by a group of students actually in England a few years ago, and I had seen them online, and we were the first in the U.S. to import them. But they basically, it's a 6-foot diameter, and you can fit 8 bikes within that diameter, and the fact that they're upright, they're actually more secure because you can lock both the wheel and the frame to it. So
I feel like
they're beautiful.
I feel like the engineering behind bicycle racks has really gone just leaps and bounds over the past 10 years or so. We have some really well-designed bike racks here in San Luis Obispo as well. It's a local inventor that has, and then organizations fund the different racks around town. So you'll see little plaques on these bike racks saying, this rack donated by such and such. Did you have to personally put these racks in front of your restaurants?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the city, just like a lot of the cities, they're putting in racks, but they really only hold, 2 bikes. And, to your point before, we really wanted to make it easy for people. If it's not easy, people aren't going to do it. And we want to encourage more cyclists and people to ride to the restaurant. And like I said, if it's not easy for them to park, they're just not going to do it.
And what seems to be the reaction from, say, non-cyclists that visit your restaurant?
We just don't let them eat.
That's funny.
There's it's funny because we're in, like I said, an urban location, and cities in the past have always had zoning where you had to have so many parking spaces and yada yada, and that's such an old school way of thinking,
right?
Especially in urban locations when we just don't have the space for huge parking lots, thank God. So, our location in Sacramento, we had a parking lot that had about 8 parking spaces, and I actually reduced it in half to put our large patio and more bike parking back there. So, like I said, people will, if they want to get to your restaurant, they'll find a way to park their car. There's lots of street parking and whatnot, but we really want to encourage other forms of transportation. We've also changed out to car parking spots to create 8 two-wheel spots for scooters or motorcycles.
Oh, good. Now, where are you located in Emeryville?
In Emeryville, we are actually right across from the Amtrak train station in the public market, and it's an old development that is being sort of brought back to life by new developers, and really doing a great job because it's a LEED certified neighborhood, and it's a great. Emeryville's a real fun city. Lots of businesses. Pixar is based there.
Yeah.
Jamba Juice and Whole Foods West Coast offices, and Cliff Bar, which is obviously a very, very bicycle friendly business. And, we do a lot with them. So it's a great community.
I've stayed at a hotel that is, I think it's changed hands, but it's directly adjacent to the Amtrak there. And we brought our bikes because we had an event in San Francisco we needed to go to. And so we just rode on over to BART, hopped on at the... what station is that there? It's the elevated station. I can't think of it. But anyway, hopped on BART there, took it into the city. No parking hassles, which San Francisco can be a parking headache. You can also bleed your wallet dry at the same time. and then it was a beer event. And so we had several beers. And then we didn't have to worry about drinking and driving, took BART back. And then by that time, we were fine to then ride the rest of the way back to the hotel. So that's a nice aspect of the whole cycling thing too, is just avoiding the head, especially in a congested area like downtown Sacramento or the whole Emeryville, East Bay, San Francisco area. You avoid so many of those headaches, right, Andrea?
Right. Well, in the East Bay and Sacramento, they're a little easier to ride around in because compared to San Francisco, because it's a little flatter.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about cable car tracks.
You have to have good calves too, right?
You have to have good calves,
yeah.
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I used to live in North Beach, and sometimes I would really have to climb some of those hills, and I just gave up, and I would throw my bike on the Muni and have it take me up.
They're brutal. Yeah, and I don't even like driving my car up some of them.
Yeah.
No, I don't. So, what's on the menu there at? I love the name. First of all, Hot Italian. How'd you come up with that?
Well, it's funny because you probably remember this back in the day where there was the whole generic line where you could go to the grocery store and it was like beer.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so that's where I came up with it, because to me, when you say Hot Italian, then people can have their own imagination run wild, because Hot Italian can mean anything.
Yeah.
To anyone. It could be a bike, it could be a person, a car, a pair of shoes. It's many different things, and so that's really where it came from. And my business partner, who is the Pizziolo, is from Italy. He had a restaurant there for about 17 years, and he's really the reason why the pizza is as claimed as people say. So it's a real simple concept. It's a pizza and panini bar, and we do have calzones and salads and gelato and espresso. It's basically just walking into Italy. Because
of the large cycling contingent to your fan base, do you tend to kind of lean on the healthy side?
Yes, it's very it's thin crust, and it's just like Italian food is. It's very simple. Not tons of ingredients on every pizza. All of our pizzas are custom designed by Fabrizio, and they're most of them are a combination of California and Italian ingredients. So we have what's called a Fiori, and by the way, all of our pizzas are named after hot Italians, so you can Google them. But the Fiori is just tomato sauce made with local tomatoes, because where else would you get the best tomatoes but Central Valley?
That's true.
Local mushrooms, local arugula, prosciutto Parma from Parma, Italy, and then it's finished with truffle oil from a Italian family that's had an olive oil company here in California.
Ooh, nice! I love it.
Yeah, it's a really popular pizza, and so yeah, I mean, I think that that's one of the misperceptions that people have with pizza, because they're so used to the real heavy, extra cheese, extra meat, and what sort of American version of pizza is. And Fabrizio and I both eat pizza every day, and
and you don't get tired of it?
Healthy.
I like it. Well, I'll tell you what, we're heading into a commercial break here, speaking with Andrea Lepore from Hot Italian. Mallory Jenkins from Slow Rideshare is joining us as well. And right after the break, we'll speak with the owner of a bike tour company in Santa Cruz. You're listening to Eat, Drink, Explore. Lift it. 9:33 now the time here on this Sunday Fun Day morning. Great to have you with us, everyone, here on the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. It is May, and May is Bike Month nationally, so we thought it would be fun to bring together several guests from California who each sort of attack cycling on a different level. In our first segment, we spoke with Mallory Jenkins, who joins us here in studio. Mallory, thank you for being here. She's with Slow Rideshare. Rideshare.org is the organization, and that is for primarily San Luis Obispo County, but you can certainly get information on Slow Rideshare no matter where you live in the state. Andrea Lepore also, she joined us last segment and is still on the line with us, and she is the one half of the people behind a restaurant chain called Hot Italian, where they make a really great Italian fare and welcome in a big way cyclists in Emeryville and in the Sacramento area. And joining us now is Marty Abaraya. Did I get that right, Marty?
Well done, Randall.
Nice. Okay, well, our call screener helped me with that. Marty joins us. He is with Santa Cruz Bike Tours, which that, to me, that is the way to see an area. Marty, what made you think Santa Cruz would be a great spot for showing people around via bicycles?
Well, initially, a buddy of mine and I had been talking about taking people over to Europe. I personally like to go over and watch soccer matches, cycle around, and drink beer. So figured we'd find a dozen like-minded people and put them through the paces. But then I started realizing I didn't really want to become a tour operator, travel agent, having to book hotel rooms for people, airfares, and things like that. And so we had a minor epiphany that we have everything right here. We have some of the best mountain biking, some incredible road routes, and of course, just a gorgeous coastal route to take people along who really don't do a lot of cycling.
Now, Marty, if large companies, and there are plenty of them within a short radius of Santa Cruz, wanted to book a bicycling tour with you, you will do some culinary and beer tours as well, right?
We have, for our corporate and group events, we've handled over the years quite a few large groups, everything Red Bull, Seagate, North Face Company, among others. Who've brought large groups. What we did with the folks from Seagate this last year is we put together a couple of culinary bike tours where we took, we have a chef who went to the farmer's market. One time we were actually able to take the group out there. The other time it didn't quite work out for that. But so we like to be able to educate the people, have at the market, and then we take them out on a bike ride. They come back, and there's food being prepared for them, and we set up a little cooking demo so they could participate in it and such, and it was just a whole lot of fun. We do it at the local wineries, so we actually are sitting, right there in the wine cellar doing this. It's a real fun thing. We no longer offer it on our regular bill of fare, but we do have for the corporate tours. Yeah,
I like the sound of it. It seems like Andrea should start up a hot Italian in Santa Cruz, and then you could make that a regular stop on the bike tours.
Well, that would be lovely.
We
have here in the one thing I will tell you that is a little more far more commonplace. I was when I heard the name of your show, Eat, Drink, Explore. That could really be our Santa Cruz Coastal Cruise. Because I may have to go ahead and talk to you about the rights to that name later on.
Feel free to use it, but people have to listen to our show at least once in order to take part in the tour.
We'll work out a cross promotion on that, but essentially that is really what we do, and we take people out. The tour that we do the most of, probably about 2/3 of our tours are the people just want to do a little sightseeing. They most often do little to no cycling. So we set them up on as comfortable a bike as possible. We take them out at their pace. We support them. So we provide bikes, helmets, water, snacks, sunscreen, binoculars, everything they could want to do and have. And but the one thing that we do besides taking them out to the Lighthouse and Steamer Lane, Natural Bridges, Long Marine Lab, Wilder Ranch and such, is there's the Swift Street Courtyard, which houses Kelly's French Bakery, Santa Cruz Mountain Brewing Company, and about half a dozen wineries.
You know what? The last time I was staying in Santa Cruz, I was staying at the Dream Inn there, owned by, is that Kimpton? I think that's a Kimpton hotel. Anyway, and they were recommending that we head off to that little spot.
Yeah, no, it actually is. It's the hub really of what we do out there on the west side. It's only about 5 blocks off the coast, and it has everything. People when they Kelly's is famous throughout Santa Cruz, and I imagine much further than that. For their baked goods, and they serve breakfast and lunch, and it's just absolutely. We've done everything over at that place. We set up. That's where we did our corporate tours. We did that at a couple of the wineries there. When we did the culinary tour, we also we've done found a little niche with bachelorette tours for some reason. I had no idea, but we've done probably about a dozen bachelorette tours.
Really? That wouldn't be the first thing that comes to mind for me, but that's great. If that's the trend, let's hope it keeps going.
No, it's a healthy alternative there for them, and we set them up at one of the wineries where they do a little tasting, and then we serve them lunch over there at the winery and such. So that center is so convenient for us. It's a real big part of our coastal cruise.
Marty, are your tours mainly on roads that you're sharing with cars, or does Santa Cruz have a nice network of paths that you can take as well?
Well, our coastal cruise is ideal because we really spend very little time on road. In particular, no time on anything where people are going to feel intimidated because that, I used to be a bicycle messenger up in San Francisco, so I'm very comfortable around traffic. People who haven't gotten on a bicycle can be a little bit intimidated by a big hunk of metal going by at 35 miles an hour. So we have on the coastal cruise, we have that West Cliff. We've got the multi-use path. We take them out there. We also have them as we head out to Wilder Ranch. There's also a two-way bike path that goes from I forgot the name of this, Schaefer Street, all the way out to Wilder Ranch. And then once we're out at Wilder Ranch, we are basically off-road. We're on the coastal paths and such. So we spend most of our time away from traffic.
Oh, that's good to hear. I fully understand the whole bicycle messaging thing in San Francisco. I used to commute to work by bicycle in San Francisco, and I would battle the cars on Columbus and many of the busier streets there. So hats off to you that you're all in one piece.
Well, I did feel a little guilty when you guys were talking about, or when you were mentioning the cyclists who sometimes bend the law a little bit. I have to admit, as a bike messenger back in 1985, there was, in the interest of speed, once in a while.
I think even drivers drivers break the rules too, and so everyone can kind of admit to doing it here and there. But
Goes both ways.
But it goes both ways. It's when it's blatant, I think, on a regular basis is that what irritates us all. But we are speaking with Mallory Jenkins with Slow Rideshare. That's located in downtown San Luis Obispo, but it's a countywide thing. Rideshare.org. Andrea Lepore, she's with Hot Italian Restaurants in Sacramento and Emeryville, a very bicycle-friendly chain. And then Marty Abarella, he runs Santa Cruz bike tours that really give you the flavor of the area. And would you, all three of you, basically, would you say exploring a neighborhood, whether it is the restaurants there in Sacramento or Emeryville, or just giving people the flavor of Santa Cruz, or exploring San Luis Obispo, Mallory, wouldn't you say that when you get out of the car and on a bike, you really start to feel the neighborhoods?
Oh, totally. You know what? It's so much better. I've had a bad habit of just randomly moving like once a year for the last.
Well, you've been here for a while because we've known you for a little bit.
Oh yeah, no, but randomly, just I decide that I need a different house or something, whatever. So anyway, but yeah, you go to look for things, and you definitely get a lot better feel for the neighborhood and all that, and you see so much more that you wouldn't see if you're just in the car.
It's true. I used to anchor the news in Madison, Wisconsin, and when I first went for the job interview out there, I was flown out, never been to the Midwest in my life, never been to Madison, which by the way ranks consistently in the top 5 of biking cities in the United States. And after I was offered the job, we went to dinner, all that sort of thing with the news director. I was scheduled to fly out the next day, and I asked him, can I change my flight to a couple of days from now, and can you recommend a place where I can rent a bicycle? I want to ride around the city to make sure this is where I want to spend. I had to sign a 3-year contract, so I'm like, I want to make sure I want to be able to spend 3 years here. He goes, you are not going to be disappointed when it comes to Madison and cycling. Yes, we will put you up for a couple of more nights. And that's what I did. I rode around the city, and that really gave me the flavor of Madison. And had it not been for the winters there, I might still be there.
Definitely. You just put studs in your tires, then it's fine,
Right, exactly. Andrea, do you get a lot of tourists that pop into your locations, or is it mainly locals?
We get a little bit of both, honestly. And what's interesting, too, is we get, locals that bring their family and friends from out of town. It's like one of the places to show them, that Sacramento and Emeryville are actually cool.
Right.
It's interesting to, So, like last night we screened a bike short film that we helped produce about 8 guys that rode their single-speed bikes from Portland down to San Francisco, called No Coast, because as you know, you can't, on a single-speed bike, you can't ever stop pedaling. There's no coasting.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so
I've never been on a
great
single
film.
speed.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough ride. So
That's a tough ride, even
last night.
no matter how you look at it.
Yeah.
So you can do films there. You have like a wall you show them on?
Yes, yep, in both locations. So next Friday in Emeryville, we're screening it again, and there's a couple bike shops that are doing some bike rides. Manifesto in Oakland and Ranch Science in Berkeley are doing rides from their locations to the film. So
What a great idea. Are there any sort of film nights or anything, Mallory, as part of Rideshare for the month of May?
You know, we just actually, just this last Friday, we had the Bikin' movie over at the Mission over here. And
One of the few remaining drive-in movie theaters in California.
totally, Bikin'. The Bicycle Coalition had a bike valet there, and it was all set up. They did a great job. It was a lot of fun. So
Right. So, Marty, what about as far as going and seeing live performances or movies? Do those ever get incorporated into your rides?
Live performances and such, no. Not what we do is basically, take people to the spots to see, and oftentimes we like to take them to different places to eat and such based on interest they might have gone ahead and indicated.
Right. Well, I want to thank all three of you for discussing cycling with us today here on Eat, Drink, Explore Radio. I love it so much. I want to share the passion, and I thought, well, I'm going to find three people that are passionate about it, and so I think we did a good job finding the three. That's for sure. Mallory Jenkins makes it her job at Slow Rideshare to get people on bikes, especially this month. Andrea Lepore with Hot Italian restaurants in Sacramento and Emeryville. If you're visiting or live in those areas, give them a try. And Marty Albarella, next time you visit Santa Cruz, or if you live in the city of Santa Cruz and just want to explore your city through a different set of eyes, give it a shot. It's SantaCruzBikeTours.com. Thanks, you guys.
thank you.
Thank you.
thanks so much.
All right, and stick around, everyone, because after the break, we will be taking a look at 10 foods that are often frauds. So like, for instance, you buy honey and you think, oh, I got my nice natural honey here. Well, we have a list of the top 10 foods that are often fraud foods. And so certainly you don't want that, right? All right. It is a Sunday fun day, Mother's Day. Can't say it enough. Happy Mother's Day, everyone, including my mom in Lincoln. I have a feeling my mom and my dad might head into Sacramento and check out the Hot Italian. All right. We're back in 2 minutes. It's so warm out. 8:49 the time, everyone, here on the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. Great to have you joining us. Just saying goodbye to our guest there, Mallory Jenkins with Slow Rideshare. I highly recommend, once again, going to rideshare.org. Whether you live in San Luis Obispo County or not, it is a wealth of information. And if you're coming here to visit for any number of reasons. That gives you some tools as well as in terms of staying at bike-friendly hotels and those sorts of things. Okay, this past week, I found a really interesting article on MNN.com. That's Mother Nature Network, which is one of the top sites on the web. They get an amazing amount of traffic. And it's called Food Fraud, 10 Counterfeit Products We Commonly Consume. And I thought, well, what am I buying that's possibly counterfeit? So I looked through the list here. And by the way, they didn't just guess on these things. They called this list from the Food Fraud Database. This is called the FFD. And this is a part of the FDA. And so the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, has this sort of sidebar called the Food Fraud Database. And these are verified fraudulent foods on a regular basis. So these are the foods they receive the most complaints about, and then they go out and test them and make sure that they're indeed frauds. The FDD describes food fraud as the deliberate substitution, addition, tampering, or misrepresentation of food ingredients, or food packaging, or false or misleading statements made about a product for economic gain. So it has a shocking number of entries, and we'll start with number one, which is orange juice. And what it says here in the article is what could be complicated about orange juice. It's just juice from oranges, right? Except when it's not. And that some juice makers feel compelled to, on a regular basis, pump up their product with non-orange ingredients. They do it. It's a fact. Orange juice is one of the most popular items to have suspect ingredients sneaked into the mix. The FFD is full of these faux orange juices. One of the most shocking reveals a mixture of beet sugar, corn sugar, monosodium glutamate, ascorbic acid, potassium sulfate, orange pulp wash, grapefruit solids, and a byproduct from a water distillation system. So, best way to make sure your orange juice is fresh is to squeeze it yourself. Number two on the list is honey. Honey laundering has been making headlines lately because of large-scale cases in China where stocks are commonly tainted with a potentially dangerous antibiotic. Launderers mask the honey's origin, and the defiled product, as they say here, is whisked through the system to unwitting consumers. This is what I would say when it comes to honey. Buy it at your farmer's market from a local farmer, beekeeper that you trust. That's what I do here locally with Stotley's honey. That's what we have. And on top of it, if you're getting honey from overseas, that means it doesn't have local pollen. And one of the perceived benefits of honey is that it might help with your allergies. So you want to buy it local. All right, the FDD lists many non-honey ingredients that they've found in these mixes, such as sucrose syrup, sugar syrup, partial inverted cane syrup, corn syrup, glucose syrup, high fructose corn syrup, beet sugar, and several other non-authentic sweeteners. You're not buying honey to get all of those other things, right? Truffle oil is number 3 on the list. I'm personally not a fan of truffles. I think truffle oil smells like feet to me, but I know that some people find it to be. It is a expensive food and considered a delicacy for many people. Truffles grow underground. They use pigs to find them, and apparently, the fancy truffle oil that home chefs and beloved restaurants drizzle across pizza, pasta, and salad isn't flavored in many cases with real truffles. So keep your eye out for those. Blueberries, okay? You know, if you're eating a blueberry, it's a blueberry, right? Well, yeah, if you're actually eating blueberries. But what about blueberry things that call themselves blueberry on the package, like cereals or nutrition bars? Well, that seems to be the problem. According to this article here, in 7 nutrition bars that are worse than candy, they discovered that the Berry Blast Power Bar It has pictures of blueberries on the wrapper. Contained, ta-da, no berries whatsoever. Berries and blueberries in particular have become a superfood darling, as we know. So a lot of times they just use blue food coloring, and they make them in little granules, so it looks like you have blueberries in your bar when you don't. Check the ingredient list to see if blueberries are actually listed. Some of the big popular manufacturers, Kellogg's, Betty Crocker, General Mills, behind some of these products. Milk is a problem. Fake milk being sold as the real McCoy. It seems unfeasible, but it's not. Milk is one of the most commonly adulterated food items out there, according to this list. A look at this database turns up pages of searches for search results for milk. So keep that in mind. Fish, we've had on this very program all of the fish fraud that's out there. A lot of fish being sold as one type when it really isn't. And the highest number of offending complaints, and when they did these, they did actual testing with DNA sampling, was at the sushi restaurants in Southern California. More than 50%. That means more than half the time that you were ordering fish at a sushi restaurant in the LA area, it wasn't what they said it was. It was still fish, it just wasn't the type that they said it was. Number 7 is saffron. You find this in a lot of Middle Eastern restaurants. It's the stamen, I believe, inside a flower. It's a very exotic and expensive spice, and the problem is a lot of times it is adulterated with marigold and calendula flowers, turmeric, corn silk, poppy petals, dried onions, gypsum, chalk, starch, borax, glycerin. The list goes on and on. There's so many different things they can do to pump up the actual saffron. So number 8, olive oil. We've heard about the bogus extra virgin olive oil coming from overseas. However, when they tested olive oil, extra virgin olive oil from California, it was a very rare occurrence that there was any fraud there. So buy your olive oil from a local California olive oil producer, and you should be just fine. Pomegranate juice at number 9 and coffee at number 10. We don't have an opportunity to go through the details on the pomegranate juice or the coffee, but you can get this list on our program summary at eatdrinkexplore.com. We have the link to the Mother Nature Network article, or you can just Google food fraud and Mother Nature Network, and it should pop up. All right, that does it for us here on this Sunday Fun Day. Great to have you with us, everyone. We really appreciate you joining us. And again, to all the mothers out there, we want to say a hats off to my co-anchor, Patty Pyburn, who is at home having breakfast with the kids, enjoying herself. Cora Adam, who works our phones most days, not doing it today because she's getting breakfast in bed. And, of course, to my beautiful mother, Carolyn White in Lincoln, California. I know she's watching. A big happy Mother's Day kiss and hug to you.